Wartime, baby. Give me that nuclear football. Yeah!
Fox News alert, this just in. A highly credible whistleblower is alleging that the Department of Justice has evidence that the President of the United States, Joe Biden, was directly involved in a criminal scheme with a foreign national. We're being told that Justice has had in their possession a document showing Biden directly exchanged money for policy decisions when he was vice president. Again, a foreign national bribed Vice President Biden in exchange for policy decisions. This isn't just cracked out, Hunter. This is a direct link to the President of the United States. Senator Chuck Grassley, who broke the news, says these allegations are very credible. Listen.
We have credible information that this possible criminal activity took place. I do have faith in the whistleblowers that bring it to me that this document exists. We have a rough idea of what's in the document.
Whoa!
From the credible whistleblower, we get this information. The document exists, and we'll have to get the document to.
This is Grassley's wheelhouse. He doesn't mess around when it comes to whistleblowers. Grassley's the real deal on this stuff.
I don't get it.
And that's bad news for Biden. This could be hard evidence that Joe was doing political favors for cash. And the FBI and the Justice Department knew it, and they sat on it. Just like they did with the laptop for over a full year in the run-up to the last election. And since this is another election cycle for Biden, I guess it was all part of the plan, another cover-up. But now, Oversight Chair James Comer is issuing a subpoena to the FBI and Chris Wray, ordering them to release this document immediately. And Grassley is telling the White House they better not cover it up by classifying it.
Oh, my God.
Do you believe that the subpoena will also ultimately be successful and Chairman Comer will be able to obtain this document? What level of confidence do you have?
It'll be successful unless the White House classifies this document.
Doesn't sound right.
And they better not, because I know it's a non-classified document. But they could keep me from getting it by classifying it.
But we know the White House is already jumping into defense. Biden's Stephen Miller put out this statement. You ready? Quote.
I heard that. I wish I didn't hear that, but I just heard that.
For going on 5 years now, Republicans in Congress have been lobbying unfounded, unproven, politically motivated attacks against the president and his family without offering evidence for their claims or evidence of decisions influenced by anything other than U.S. interests. That's because they prefer floating anonymous innuendo amplified by the megaphone of their allies in the right-wing media to get the attention and try to distract and deflect from their own unpopular ideas and lack of solutions to the issues the American people actually care about. Whatever. This is yet another whistleblower who fingers Biden as the head of a corrupt political family. Taking money under the table from foreign nationals.
He's now the sitting president of the United States, but there are hundreds of data points that Joe Biden was acting in a capitalistic term, I would say the chairman. He's a figurehead. He shows up at meetings, shakes hands, advises, has faith in his team. Effectively, that was Joe Biden's role in the Biden family business ventures and around the world.
They're former White House staffers who were on Air Force Two with Biden when he flew to Ukraine to push for gas deals, while Hunter was being paid by gas giants. And he has the evidence to prove it, remember?
Joe Biden is lying. Joe Biden is a criminal. That's the bottom line. I don't care if he goes to Timbuktu or Ireland or anywhere. He's a criminal. And I've got the evidence. If they put me in front of the grand jury that's right now seated in Wilmington, damn! With Special Prosecutor David Weiss, my testimony becomes the evidence that will put him in jail or will lead to his impeachment.
Well, a picture tells 1,000 words. Here's Joe Biden at dinner with foreign nationals paying his son. What were they paying his son for? They can't tell you. But we have emails describing kickbacks for Joe Biden, 10% for the big guy. And of Hunter setting up White House meetings for Chinese nationals, a guy named Wang.
Who does that?
Does that sound like innuendo? We have IRS whistleblowers who say Biden's Department of Justice, they've been slow-walking charges against Hunter to protect the fam. Can't say we're surprised when we hear the Department of Justice has been sitting on evidence that Joe was exchanging political favors for cash. This was happening right under Barack Hussein Obama's nose. Barack Hussein Obama likes to say his administration had no scandals.
Freaking excited!
But his own VP was running a foreign cash register out of his White House? Come on. But it could get worse. Hunter's finances, they're about to get cracked open in an Arkansas court. All because the deadbeat dad's trying to lowball child support payments to his love child.
I like turtles.
Now, meanwhile, Hunter's been shacking up at the White House trying not to get served. And his sugar brother, you know, the guy who loaned Hunter $2 million to pay off his back taxes? Well, we just found out he's been hiding Hunter's assets.
Oh, yes.
So a 4-year-old girl can stay poor. The sugar brother even took over Hunter's stake in that Chinese company that the White House said that Hunter divested from. And you ready? The Washington Post just now reporting that federal prosecutors just met with Hunter's defense team. And they're very close on deciding whether or not to indict the president's son on tax and gun charges. Now, maybe this is why Joe hasn't been seen in the last 48 hours.
Explosive testimony on Capitol Hill over government censorship. Twitter Files journalist Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger telling lawmakers how the Biden administration applied pressure to shut down free speech.
What am I looking at right now?
I regret to inform the subcommittee today that the scope, power, and law-breaking of the censorship industrial complex are even worse than we had realized.
We both talked about how this isn't a partisan issue at all, despite the fact that it's been repeatedly described as a right-wing conspiracy.
A what?
We found evidence of suppression of movements on both sides.
But the Democrats were not concerned about government pushing censorship.
The First Amendment say the government can censor.
The time of the gentleman has
They're
expired.
not censoring. They're flagging in the social media companies.
So
Under
it's only
coercion.
35% of a First Amendment? Or?
It's not the First Amendment. It's the terms of service, as you said, and they are flagging it for the social media companies to make their own decisions. That is not the First Amendment. That is the terms of service.
But Congressman Dan Goldman was not done there. He now claims the Hunter Biden laptop isn't real.
You have no idea. You know hard drives can
that
be
it's a conspiracy?
manipulated.
Are you suggesting the New York Post could participate in a conspiracy to construct the contents of the Hunter Biden laptop?
No, sir. The problem is that hard drives can be manipulated by Rudy Giuliani or Russia.
But what's the evidence that that happened?
Well, there is actual evidence of it, but the point is it's
There's
not
no
the same
evidence for
thing.
it, so you're engaging in a conspiracy.
I'm glad.
Whew. Jesse, are you concerned about what you just heard there?
I am. Big Brother used to just want to listen to us, and now they want to tape our mouths shut. Well, actually, 35% of our mouths. Could you imagine this was like a speech tax? Because that's what it feels like. You know, I get to say 65% of what I think, but the government gets to take the rest. No. And I'm not saying the government is into tyranny. But I think they're comfortable with it because they've already censored, they've already gagged, they've already arrested Donald Trump. They're trying to replace me with a robot.
Dun, dun, dun.
They're trying to boycott and bankrupt our companies. So at a certain point, it makes me think they're not into democracy, because the best part about democracy is we're giving these politicians power to represent us. We're not giving them power over us. They work for us. We have power over them.
The guy?
And the Supreme Court made it clear. The Constitution's made it clear. You can't abridge free speech, yet the Democrats are out on live television saying, yeah, let's go. This is crazy. They're calling it disinformation, but it's actually just a conversation we're all having. And we used to have a great conversation. You remember in the colonial times, you used to just have these publishing houses that would print the ridicule against the church or slavery or the king, and it would have this great conversation in the country. And then we had television.
Buckle up, baby. Are you kidding me?
And then they had these TV licensed 3 media corporations. And now we just have the internet. So the government can just go through the back door of the internet and hit kill switches. No, that's why I'm going to start street preaching.
Wow. Okay. Well, we look forward to that. Judge, are you concerned that this is happening more and more? And to Matt Taibbi's point, on both sides.
What these people are saying is that the government has the ability to skew Americans' views based upon their own politics. And what Taibbi and Schellenberg are talking about is in 2019 and 2020, during the presidential election, we saw it happen. We saw the heads of the FBI and our intelligence community say, that the laptop was Russian disinformation. But what was most concerning was that they said it was not just in the United States with the FBI, the CIA, and Homeland Security, that it was with the UK as well. And if you think back in 2016, who did Hillary Clinton go to get Russian disinformation on Donald Trump? She went to Christopher Steele, who was a spy in the UK. So it's not just in the United States, it's with our so-called partners in Great Britain. But this guy, Dan Goldman, is dangerous because he thinks that taking away 35% of free speech is okay because he is couching it as in terms of the company, which is nonsense. It's BS. And he's saying that laptop is really, that hard drive may not be legitimate, that it may have been manipulated because it might have been manipulated. Well, there might be Martians up there watching us right now. But because it may be doesn't mean that it is. And unless you show actual manipulation, you cannot try to con the American public into thinking that hard drive is not the real hard drive, especially when Hunter Biden admitted it was his.
Oh, that was gross.
And denying the laptop, Harold, did that surprise you by a representative of Congress?
It did a little bit. I love exchanges like this before congressional committees, oversight committees, because I think when you get two smart people with fact-based arguments going back and forth, they were yelling. It got a little noisy, but it was informative noisy. It was substantive noisy. And I think that Schellenberg, at least what I saw the exchanges,
Oh my God.
got the better of Congressman Goldman in the exchange, at least on the substance of what they were debating. Every 15, 20 years, used to be every 30, 40 years, we'd go through these kind of episodes in our country where we would really probe and want to understand, examine how government might be pressuring individuals or institutions to say certain things or not say certain things. We saw it during the civil rights era where people were eavesdropped on because we thought they might have been threats to the country as they were fighting vigorously for people's freedoms. And that balance, that recalibration always comes every 10, 15, 20 years. And this, in this instance, we're going to get a big one. We'll get a big one next year as the court takes up the Missouri v. Biden case, which will determine what are the limits the government can exert on companies or individuals and asking them to regulate or, for that matter, tame or expand their speech. If these allegations are right, that the government, and it seems that some of them are, Sandra, that the government was in the business of trying to tell them what to do or trying to tell them what information was okay, what information is permissible, that's wrong. And I'm glad this hearing is taking place. And again, these are the kind of oversight efforts that I think the American people deserve. Whether you agree with what happened or you disagree with what happened, we all should agree with the fact that no one's right to speak, whether I agree with you or disagree with you, should be infringed upon because I don't like what you're saying.
I'm a little disappointed that I'm going last because I would have loved to hear Harold's rebuttal. And I'm afraid we won't have time to hear your response.
I'm going to respond.
Okay, good. I appreciate how you say that over time, the embrace of free speech might have swung ideologically.
Yes! That's awesome.
There might have been a time in this country when the right was the one pushing.
But I wasn't
for
saying it that way. I'm just saying it just swings.
Well, you talked about the equilibrium. Well, here's what I think is undebatable right now. The regime of censorship in this country, in the current modern moment of America, is being driven wholeheartedly by the left. Openly, and in this hearing, Democrats are now the party of censorship. Maybe one day that will not be the case, but that is certainly the case today. We also have the news, the Biden administration is pressuring YouTube to take people... Anyone that has any hesitancy about the vaccine when demand did not meet supply to take it down. And this is in 2021. So, and by the way, the left as an ideology generally doesn't embrace free speech to the same level as the right globally.
Spicy meat. Yeah, boy.
Look at the UK, look at Europe, Canada, hate speech laws. Generally, there's this idea, I'm offended by what you have to say, therefore I should be able to shut you up. The only defense for this country, which is the hallmark of free speech in this world right now, is the American right. I'm not here to tell you that I trust the American right for here to eternity. It's not that they have a sterling record on this, but as an absolute proponent of free speech, I do know this. If you have faith, if you need this part of the American experiment to last, you need the American right to believe this. I will watch them like a hawk, but the left, Harold, is lost. They're gone. They believe in censorship, not the First Amendment.
And so said the court. So said the court, and that's on its way to the Supreme Court.
Blah, 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 blah.
That is, a Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that that is the case.
No one has a monopoly on stupidity or trying to encroach on people's rights.
Well, at this point, they do.
And at this moment, there's no doubt the left needs to be calibrated. But I will remind you that just a year ago, we had a speech conversation about whether people should be able to teach certain things in class, and people said, no, I don't want that. People thought that their free speech rights were being infringed upon. All I'm saying is let's let it all out there. Let's have this debate. And this debate that happened before Congress, you're right.
Ah! Oh, my God!
What the left has done or what some are doing is wrong, and it should be corrected. I don't care if it's the right or the left instigating it. It should be corrected.
I appreciate that. And
That's all. And I hope you can say on the other side.
I promise to watch the right. I believe in free speech, even the speech that I hate. And I'm terrified for the future of the First Amendment.
And I'm for the Rangers.
It's easy to jump on the bandwagon now.
We'll leave it at that. Okay.
Welcome to a special edition of Jesse Watters Prime Time. I'm Will Cain in for Jesse. And we start with a Fox News alert. A major blow for the Democratic Party.
Whoa!
The Supreme Court today shot down special counsel Jack Smith's appeal to fast-track Trump's January 6th case, handing Trump a Christmas gift: time. Jack Smith, the overzealous prosecutor with the scraggly beard, tried to leapfrog the lower court of appeals and force a quick decision on the question of whether or not the former president should be granted immunity from his federal charges. Why? To make sure Donald Trump spends the month of March stuck in a courtroom. Trump, who's already been out of commission for the last 2 months over his fraud case in New York, will be taken off of the campaign trail. Again, meaning no rallies, no fundraisers, and will be forced back into the court the day before Super Tuesday, when Trump is supposed to be on the ballot in 16 states. It's been the Biden campaign strategy all along. Biden stays home, Donald Trump stays in court. But now the Supreme Court is ripping it out of the hands of Jack Smith and handing it off to another lower level court, which could punt the trial to after the election.
Wow.
It's a big blow to the plan to stop Donald Trump. And the way things look, we could see a 9-0 Supreme Court decision to strike down Colorado's decision to strip Trump off the ballot. And that would be a second big blow to Democrats, who all week have been dancing like kids on Christmas morning.
Happy winter solstice, everybody. Right? For my pagan viewers, happy Saturnalia. Dang. One popular solstice tradition is to dance around a bonfire, but I already did my drunken fire dance 2 nights ago when Colorado kicked Trump off the ballot. Fun fact.
Democrats who love to talk about saving democracy are dancing for the death of democracy. All Democrats want for Christmas is Trump off the ballot. Colorado struck first. Next up, California, Michigan, Wisconsin, and 12 other states who are dreaming of kicking Trump off the ballot. The campaign plan for Democrats is clear. It is ballot strip him and strap him into a courtroom, as Joy Behar puts it. The law must defeat him. It's why they're smearing a former president with the word insurrectionist. Look, they know very well you can't lead an insurrection against yourself. Trump was the president.
Yeah, you can get her out. Get her out.